When my mother pounded on my dining table demanding $15,000 for my sister's dream wedding, she genuinely believed she was holding all the cards. "She's your blood, and you will pay for her venue today," she snapped, treating my life savings like her personal bank account. When I looked her dead in the eye and refused, she didn't just walk away. She went behind my back, took my card details, and attempted to drain every single cent I had saved. But what she didn't realize was that I had anticipated her entitlement months ago. The very next morning, my phone vibrated with a panicking call from my sister, sobbing that the wedding was ruined. What my family didn't know was about to turn their entire world upside down. My name is Clara. I'm 27 years old, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the designated responsible one in my family. Working 60-hour weeks as a registered nurse, I'd spent years sacrificing my weekends and personal life to build a solid financial safety net. My younger sister, Chloe, on the other hand, was the undisputed golden child. Whatever Chloe wanted, Chloe got, usually funded by our mother, Evelyn, or whichever boyfriend happened to be in her orbit at the time. So when Chloe got engaged to a guy who lived far beyond his means, no one was surprised when she planned a royal-style wedding on a pauper's budget. What did surprise me was the Tuesday evening Mom called a mandatory family dinner. The moment I walked into Mom's dining room, the air was thick with tension. The good china was out, but there were no smiles. Mom didn't even wait for dessert before dropping the hammer. She slammed a sleek velvet folder onto the table right next to my plate. "The deposit for Chloe's venue is due by noon tomorrow," Mom said, her voice laced with an uncomfortable mix of authority and desperation. "It's $15,000. I'm short, so you need to transfer the funds to her account tonight." I stared at her, then at Chloe, who was busy inspecting her manicure like she was owed the world. "$15,000? I asked, a bitter laugh escaping my chest. "Mom, that's my hard-earned emergency fund. I'm not paying for a venue she can't afford." Mom's knuckles turned white against the table. "She's your blood, Clara. You don't need that money sitting in a bank doing nothing while your sister's dream day falls apart." I stood up holding my ground. "My answer is no, Mom. Absolute zero." When I stood up from that table, Mom's face contorted into a look of absolute fury. She didn't scream or argue further. Instead, she went eerily quiet. "Fine," she whispered, her voice dripping with cold resentment. "If that's how you treat family, then just leave." I grabbed my coat, leaving my purse on the kitchen counter for just 2 short minutes while I used the restroom before driving home. I had no idea that during those 2 minutes, Mom had unzipped my bag, pulled out my wallet, and taken crisp, clear photos of my primary card details, including the security code on the back. She thought she was brilliant, driven by pure entitlement. The second I pulled out of the driveway, Mom called the high-end venue's booking office. Using my card information over the phone, she attempted to process the entire $15,000 deposit to lock in Chloe's dream date. To her, it was a triumph. In her mind, she had forced my hand and taken what she felt Chloe was rightfully owed. Within an hour, Mom and Chloe were popping champagne in the living room. They even sent a smug message to the family group chat, declaring that Chloe's dream wedding was officially fully booked thanks to a generous family contribution. They went to bed that night believing they had completely outsmarted me, utterly oblivious to the massive trap they had just walked into. The next morning, I woke up around 7 a.m., completely unbothered. I made my bed, poured myself a fresh cup of coffee, and walked over to the kitchen island to watch the sunrise. Exactly 5 minutes later, my phone exploded. The screen lit up with Chloe's name. I let it ring twice before casually pressing speaker. Before I could even say hello, Chloe's frantic, hysterical screaming filled the room. "Clara, what did you do? What the hell did you do?" Her voice was crackling with raw panic. In the background, I could hear Mom shouting in a complete frenzy, pacing back and forth. "Calm down, Chloe," I said, taking a slow sip of my coffee. "What are you talking about? The venue just called me." Chloe sobbed, soundly unraveling. "They canceled my booking. They said the transaction was flagged, the deposit bounced, and now my account is completely locked. Mom said she fixed it last night with your card." "Why did you cancel the payment?" Mom snatched the phone from Chloe, her voice trembling with a mixture of rage and terror. Clara, you listen to me. The vendor said the payment triggered a massive security lock. They're threatening to blacklist us from the entire country club. You need to call your bank right now and tell them it wasn't a mistake, or so help me, Chloe's wedding is completely ruined. I sat back in my chair, listening to the absolute chaos echoing through the speaker. While they were losing their minds, screaming about ruined dreams and public embarrassment, I stayed completely serene. I didn't cancel anything, Mom, I said smoothly, letting a heavy silence hang in the air. Because I never authorized a payment in the first place. What do you mean you didn't authorize it? Mom shrieked into the phone. I used your card. It should have gone through. I took another calm sip of my coffee. First of all, Mom, taking photos of my card without my permission is called fraud. Second of all, you played yourself. What my mother didn't know was that I had seen this coming months ago. After years of her trying to guilt-trip me into funding Chloe's lifestyle, I knew my financial security would eventually become a target. So, I took precautions. My actual, hard-earned savings were locked safely away in a high-yield account behind dual-factor authentication and a strict trust structure that couldn't be accessed by a simple debit or credit card. The card details Mom had stolen from my purse belonged to a decoy, secondary account, a honeypot, account I kept specifically for unpredictable emergencies. It had strict daily spending limits and an automatic fraud prevention protocol. Any single attempt to charge over $500 without my biometric approval instantly froze the account and issued an automated chargeback. When Mom tried to charge $15,000 in the middle of the night to a wedding venue 3 cities away, the bank's fraud department flagged it instantly as stolen card usage. Not only did the payment bounce, but the system automatically registered the vendor's payment terminal as a site of potential identity theft, locking out the venue's transaction system for review and slapping a severe processing hold on Chloe's booking account. By trying to steal from me in secret, Mom hadn't just failed to get the money. She had triggered a digital tripwire that blew up Chloe's entire venue reservation right before their eyes. Less than 20 minutes after I hung up, my front doorbell didn't just ring. It was battered repeatedly like someone was trying to break the door down. I opened it to find Mom and Chloe standing on my porch, red-faced, breathless, and practically shaking with fury. You fix this right now, Mom barked, pushing past me into my living room with Chloe trailing right behind her. Call your bank and tell them you made a mistake. Tell them I had your permission. I will do no such thing, I replied, standing by the open doorway with my arms crossed. You took my card details from my purse while I was in the bathroom, Mom. That's grand larceny. You tried to steal $15,000 from me. It's not stealing when it's family, Chloe screamed, tears ruining her mascara. You have thousands sitting around, Clara. You're selfish. Because of your stupid security games, the venue canceled our hold and charged Mom a $800 bounced merchant fee. I pulled out my phone, unlocked it, and pulled up my bank's mobile portal along with my hallway security camera playback. The video clearly showed Mom reaching into my purse while I was down the hall. Here are your options, I said, my voice icy and level. Option 1. You pay that $800 bounce fee out of your own bank account, accept that you lost the venue, and leave my house right now. Option 2. I hit send on this police report with the video footage attached, and let the legal system explain the definition of credit card fraud to you. Mom froze. The color drained from her face as she looked from my phone screen back to my eyes, realizing for the first time that I was completely serious. With no $15,000 deposit and their credit flagged everywhere, Chloe had no choice. She had to swallow her pride and downsize her extravagant wedding to a modest, simple gathering in our aunt's backyard, one that she and her fiancé actually had to pay for out of their own pockets. When news of the attempted theft got out, the rest of our family was horrified by what Mom had done, and the endless financial handouts finally came to an abrupt stop. I kept my savings right where they belonged, completely untouched, and built a peaceful life free from their entitlement and constant demands. Standing my ground wasn't easy, but it taught my family a lesson they would never forget. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Would you have reported her to the police right away? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories, and I'll see you in the next video.